I do not encourage nor condone any of the actions performed or products shown in this video. All of the videos are produced in a safe and controlled environment. Do not attempt to replicate any of the actions performed during this video.
Hello beautiful people from the internet, it is Connie over here. Welcome back to another video. I will ask you to please try your best to ignore the broken ceiling and trash bag on my window. A tree fell on my car and I still haven't been able to fix it. But I have decorated to the best of my ability and it looks almost normal if I stand in this exact position. I mean, you cannot even see the glass shards. That's pretty positive. Today I'm going to be chatting for a little while because I've been having some thoughts. I've been hit yet again by a wave of paralysis coming from my extreme overthinking that often leads me nowhere, but this exact paralysis of motivation and just creativity. So here I am and let's talk about it. Also, what do you guys think about my lighter case? I can take my lighter on my neck like a necklace now. I feel like that's pretty revolutionary. I had never seen anything like this. You know, the past few days I think have been the come down of the past few months, which have been quite challenging and difficult, if I may say so myself at least. You know, in my perspective of the world and the things that I have experienced, the past months have been some of the most challenging in many different ways. And I feel like I'm feeling the effects of that adrenaline that I felt over the past months to like constantly be on the go fixing, because things went wrong one after the other. You know, that's just life. That happens sometimes and you have to keep going. You know, what else is there to do? And so I feel like now that I've relaxed a little bit, I'm definitely getting hit by the things that I didn't process in time, you know. And one of the things that usually gets affected right away is my creativity and just my motivation for life in general. I feel like I can usually see things in pretty colored glasses, you know, like everything has a sort of shine whenever I'm feeling happy, and I feel like you may feel this too. But whenever I'm feeling sad, things feel heavier, you know. And I even tried to put on my happy playlist, but that just led me to sing Cigarette Daydreams with a very angry face, so I'm not sure that did anything to help. But I have my two biggest tools here, and one thing that I usually do when I'm not feeling good or I'm feeling unmotivated is I open a random page of Letters to a Young Poet by Rilke and I read it. And the other day I was journaling and I decided to open the book, and I opened it on page 10 and it gave me the following statement: if your everyday life seems to lack material, do not blame it. Blame yourself. Tell yourself that you are not poet enough to summon up its riches. For there is no lack for him who creates and no poor trivial place. I feel like having a specific piece of media that just comforts you is really, really important. And for me, definitely it is Letters to a Young Poet, which I take anywhere. You know, it just has been feeling like one of those periods that you just have to put one foot in front of the other and like kind of drag yourself around the world, because it doesn't really feel light. It feels heavy. Well, I guess that's the exact opposite of light, but I've just been doubting myself so much, and I feel like unfortunately this is a sentence that I proclaim so much, but I just, any decision that I make, I think about it so many times to the point where I distort it, you know. I think about it to a point where I don't even know what the initial question was, because along the way I found 10 more that I also cannot answer, and so it just feels like an endless cycle of trying to come up with solutions and just getting more questions instead. But I think that's very normal, you know. I think that's a part of life. At least every and any adult I've talked to about these, my parents, so 2 adults, they say, you know, my daughter, that is totally normal, you know. You'll often, mostly always have more questions than answers, and that's good. You know, if you ever reach conclusions, you are more likely to stop searching for anything at all, and the search is all we are here to do. And I know this too, but sometimes it would just feel comforting to be certain about something. The other day I asked my dad, you know, Dad, when do you stop worrying about the future as an adult? Like, do you come to an age where you stop worrying about the future? Because I was hoping for some comforting answer and probably something unrealistic like at 35, but that is not true, and I knew it at the point where I asked the question. But he said, you never really stop worrying about the future, you know, you just learn to live more in the moment because you understand that worrying so much is pointless. And I felt called out, okay, because I know, the thing is that I know deep down that all of this rumination and just regurgitation of thoughts is totally pointless and it doesn't take me anywhere. But still, I feel like I do not know how to stop myself yet, and I wonder when I will learn that skill. I think it's a gradual process, you know, it doesn't happen from one day to the other, maybe not even 1 year from the other, you know, maybe 10 years from now I'll realize I'm a little bit better than I was when I was at 24, at least I hope so. But I don't know. I've just been kind of thinking, you know, what kinds of things am I good at? What kind of value could I provide to the world? What kind of career, profession, path should I choose for myself to take? You know, where is my value and how do I find it? How do I know I'm doing the right thing or the wrong thing? Is it a feeling? Am I supposed to feel something that tells me this is right or wrong? You know, I don't know. Because then again, it comes the, okay, this feels right, but does it actually feel right? Am I not just deluding myself into thinking that this feels right or wrong? You know, how do you come to a definite answer? How do you know you have reached the conclusion, you know? How do you stop searching for the answers that you are so eagerly trying to get, you know? I don't know where the point is, where you stop thinking about the things and you actually start doing them. I'm a very big planner. I love planning things, but I think I plan things too much, and I'm often told this, you know, I know I lose a lot of opportunities because instead of just doing them, I'm thinking about them, planning them, trying to protect myself against the possible worst outcomes, which I know doesn't really help, but I also cannot really help myself. I don't know how to stop it, you know? It's just something that I've been doing for a very long time, so it just feels natural to me. It's the thing that comes first, you know? Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's good to think about things. I just think sometimes I do not know how to use the brake pedal in my own brain, you know? The other day I actually wrote something that opened my eyes to a perspective that I thought I have, but maybe I didn't. I wrote, you know, I usually say that I feel like there is no meaning in life and you can create your own meaning, but I wonder if this is something I've been telling myself rather than something I actually believe in, because I feel like I wake up every day and I'm trying to look for it, and I don't know where to find it. I don't know where I will find it or how I will know that I have found it, but I feel like I've been looking for something that tells me, you know, this is my purpose, this is my meaning, this is what I'm here to do. And I know this is a thing of the human mind, okay? If I was a freaking tiger in the savannah, I just would most likely wake up, try to get food for the family, go to sleep, you know? But the human mind just goes to so many different places, and one of them often is meaning. We care a lot about knowing that we are doing something that is fruitful, not just for us, but everyone else around us too. And how do you know that you are doing it? I feel a lot of the times that I am living a meaningful life for myself, in my own perspective, also for the ones around me, but how can I be sure? I feel like most of these things would be solved if I just would be able to watch myself from above and see just how much rumination I'm doing and stop myself at some point and just say, you know what, go outside, go see something else, okay? Go talk to some people or just touch grass, literally just, you know, just live a little bit instead of just thinking so much all of the time, because it's not really helping you. And I know, and you know, I also know that things don't matter that much in the greater perspective or greater scheme of things, but I often tell myself, you know, in a year from now this will probably not matter as much as it does now, but right now it does, you know. I am not living a year from now, I am living currently inside of my brain right now, and this is where the things are feeling heavy. And of course I can tell myself it's not that deep and it won't matter that much in a span of time from now, but that's, I think, often easier said than done, because you are experiencing the things that hurt right now, you know. I don't know, I feel like adopting a bigger perspective usually can help, but sometimes it can also feel forced. Like, I don't know how it will feel a year from now. What if it doesn't feel better, you know? I sometimes think that. I know that from past experience I've gone through periods of sadness and just deep anxiety for years in a row, and so when I start feeling it again, I can tell myself, you know, this will pass, but I sometimes wonder, when will it pass? Will it take a long time? Is my overthinking that I'm doing right now just making everything worse for myself? Probably, but I don't know, guys. I do not have a script for this sort of thing, so if it sounds just senseless and stupid, I am sorry, but I cannot plan these things in advance. I have tried in the past, but then I just end up saying anything else, you know, when you lay at night and you try to plan an important conversation you're going to have in the next day, and you have all of your bullet points and things that you want to say, and then you're faced with the situation itself and everything changes, because emotions take the best of you and you cannot be as logical as you thought you would be able to be when you were falling asleep in your bed thinking about how things would go. Everything usually goes differently, and that's also something that I'm trying to understand. As much as I want to plan everything, things don't usually go according to plan, and sometimes that's a very good thing. I end up falling into situations that I would never have had I planned them too much, that end up being positive and just fun and exciting. But my first inclination is always to try and plan, although I know that's not going to be very useful. Yeah, I think this is just me realizing that I have a lot of patterns in the way I think about things that are just unhelpful and not really taking me much place. I don't know if you can relate. I think so. You are a human too, right? I hope AI is still not watching my videos and commenting on them. Are there robots watching videos these days? I mean, I do see robot comments in the comment section sometimes, and I do try to delete them. They usually say something like, wow, such an inspiring video, and then it's some scammy page that leads you to some place that you don't want to go, so robots, please stop taking over the world so quickly. I am scared, and I don't know where that will lead either. There's just so much, you could sit down, and I think that's the problem. You could sit down and just think about so many things and never do anything, because there's everything to think about, and if you do that, you'll just be stuck forever, which is what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid I will never be able to get out of my own brain and enjoy the world outside. I feel like I'm some sort of being inside of this shell, and I cannot experience the things because I have a veil of thought in front of me all of the time. I feel like there's a wall between me and the world sometimes that makes me unable to enjoy things to the extent that I should be enjoying them. I don't know. This is all silly. I know. You're gonna watch this and be like, what silly preoccupations this 24-year-old girl has. None of this will matter. She one day will grow out of this, and I hope you're right. And I can believe that you're right, I don't know if it's sustainable for a person to be so anxious for the rest of their life. I think I will have to change at some point. And I feel like I am better than what I was when I was younger. Or at least I'd like to believe I am, but sometimes it just feels like I'm out of the cycle, but then I just come right back into it, and it's a rumination, really. That should be the title of this video, me ruminating on some thoughts, because, I'm not really reaching any conclusions, but sometimes just saying things out loud can help you realize some things, and I think that's what I was hoping with this video. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed chatting for a little bit, my friend. I am sorry if this was more like than anything positive or meaningful for you, but I hope I have distracted you for a little bit from your own life, just seeing what silly little things I, as a normal human being, have been thinking about as of late. And I'm right there with you, my friends, and now I have to take all of that down and make sure the trash bag is not getting loose because of the wind, and I will see you all very soon, alright? Bye!